In this video, teacher Wendy Werthaiser discusses her experiences as a teacher, her thoughts on employment, and working with the Oregon Commission for the Blind.
My name is Wendy Werthaiser. I teach 6th grade English at Ashland Middle School in Ashland, Oregon. I started teaching when I had all my eyesight back in '92. And between having kids and running a restaurant, and I took a break from teaching for a little while, and I came back to teaching about 10 years ago. And I've been teaching full-time for the last 3 years.
As a teacher, are there any accommodations that you use in doing your work?
Yes, I have a couple different computers. One, I just use a regular Mac, which has the enlargement functions on there, and then I have the kids and I call it my blind girl machine. So I have a CCTV that I use on a pretty regular basis. The kids think that's really cool, so they get to come and use the machine with me as we look at their work and things like that. And then the district also provides for me approximately 8 to 10 hours a week from an educational assistant to help me with grading and some of the organizational pieces that really can't be overcome through technology.
Would you like to say anything about the responses of the children?
What I learned, and actually my principal was the one who pointed out the fact that having a bunch of 6th graders in a classroom with a visually impaired teacher actually isn't as much of a challenge as it is a gift to our learning environment. They see me struggling on a pretty regular basis with my computer, the fact that I can't see their faces, and it didn't take them long to step up and learn about what it is to be compassionate, what it is to be helpful. They take care of each other, knowing that I won't be able to read their work right there in the moment, answering questions for each other. And so I think that's such an important thing for adolescents to learn, the importance of asking for help, the importance of sticking with something even when it's a challenge. And so that role modeling that I do in the classroom, only because I have to, has really made a positive effect on the kids. And in a weird kind of way, I think it's a pretty special gift that we have here in the classroom.
Can you talk about your experiences in employment, including barriers faced, and any advice you might have for people who are blind or have visual impairments in seeking employment?
I think what is so challenging about looking for a job when you're blind or visually impaired is how much you actually want to share with a potential employer, because I think that we think we're really protected by discrimination laws, but in the end, you want to be able to show that you're as capable, and sometimes I think we have to show we're more capable than others. And I just think that that's one of the bigger challenges, as well as how do we show that we're the better candidate for any type of job when really all they might be able to see is that we're blind or that we're visually impaired, and they're wondering how much that would be a detriment to them. Mm-hmm. So I think looking for a brand new job, that's probably one of the biggest barriers. I think one of the hardest things to do, just on a personal level, when you have a disability, is being willing to acknowledge that you have this disability and being willing to ask for help. That asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, that actually it is a sign of strength, because you want to grow, you want to be better, you want to achieve certain things in your life. And as a person with disabilities, it's important for us to remember that there are certain things we can't do by ourselves. And I also think that what is important is to use whatever resources are available. Learning learning the new technology, getting involved in a state agency that's willing to help you out, asking for any type of job coaching or advice, helping you make connections in whatever field that you're interested in going into.
Do you have anything you would say to, or any advice for potential employers?
Yeah, I guess I would say that potential employers really need to find a way to look beyond whatever the disability might be. Because, as I talked about within my classroom, instead of looking at what could be the potential problems or extra resources needed for someone who's blind or visually impaired, that there are a lot of gifts and a lot of exceptional contributions that people who are blind and visually impaired can offer in all different places of employment. And so I think if employers could start looking at what a unique individual someone with a disability is and what they could really bring to the table, I think they might find that they have a much more diverse and healthy working environment.
Wendy is a potential Paralympic athlete. Would you like to talk about that?
Well, what happened was I started to think, okay, well, how could I continue riding my bike blind? And so I came across this organization that supports and encourages blind athletes, and they were doing a training camp on tandem racing. So I went and learned how to do that and just was hooked. And so I came back to Oregon and found a pilot, a person who's willing to guide on the top, at the front of a tandem bike, and we've started racing. So my hope is in 2020 I'll be competing at the Paralympics in tandem cycling.
Is there anything you want to say about the Oregon Commission for the Blind?
Aside from the fact that they're fantastic, they have supported me since the day I contacted them, and they've been there every step of the way, just asking, what can we do to help? What do you need? Because they know that I'm working hard, and they want to see me be employed and having a good, fulfilling life. So they've just, the fact that they've been able to support me every step of the way has been an incredible gift.